Tusker Football Club in the Kenyan Premier League has just won its 13th Premier League title after beating Posta Rangers 2 goals to nil, and this means that they top the table on goal difference. And just like last season, this season's Premier League title had to be decided on the last day, and two teams, Tusker Football Club and Kakamega Homeboys, they were both level on points, but the goal difference has decided who takes the title home, and it was decided on the last day. And the first thing that I'll just like to say is that I'd like to congratulate Tusker Football Club, Ali Matano and his side for winning their 13th Premier League title. They have been consistent, they have been mentally strong to win titles. You have to be mentally strong, and they have been very disciplined as well. Remember that they did not start their season very well. Remember that at one time they were not really at the top of the table, but come the end of the season, they have shown that they are consistent and they have just won their title. And I'd like to congratulate them for winning the title. And just like I've said, this season's title as well had to be decided on the last day. Tusker finished the season on 66 points, same level as Kakamega Homeboys. They both finished the season on 66 points, but the goal difference was the decider in this case, as Tusker had a goal difference of 25, while Kakamega Homeboys had a goal difference of 21. And this shows that the Kenya Premier League is quite competitive as well, because this is the second season that the title has to be decided on the last day. Last season, the two main challengers were Tusker Football Club and KCB Football Club, and the title was decided on the last day. Tusker won the title by only 1 point, and this shows that there's so much competition in the league, and that it's really doing well, and that our league is heading in the right direction, and that this season Kakamega Homeboys, they they have really provided such a good competition. Remember that they had really topped the table for quite some time, only for them to make a few mistakes during the last few games of the seasons, and many people are counting Kakamega Homeboys to win the title this season. And that I think it was just they just have to next season they just need to stay more focused, and I know that if they can be consistent and disciplined as well, I know that they can clinch a title for themselves. And that, as we say in Kenya, msilose morale, there's still next season, and we hope to see next season challenging for the title. So I also like to urge other teams from the Kenyan Premier League to challenge for the title. I want us to break this norm that only specific clubs can win the title. I want to see other clubs as well challenging for the title and setting records. And this season, Kakamega Homeboys almost won the league, and next season I expect another team to really surprise these big teams and show them that anybody can win this title. And so the league usually operates on a promotion and relegation basis, and this means that the last three teams on the table are Wazito Football Club. I think they are 16th, and this means that they have to play a relegation playoff. This means that a team from the National Super League, I think it is usually the third team in the National Super League, they'll have to face a Wazito Football Club, and one team will be promoted while the other team will be relegated to the National Super League. And the other team that has also been relegated is Vihiga Bullets. I know that they've really tried this season, and next season they are going to next season they are going to play in the National Super League, but we hope to see them in the main league as well. And the other team is Mathare United Football Club. Mathare United Football Club is such a big club. It has been in the league for quite a number of years. I think around 28 years. Has been playing in the Kenyan Premier League for quite some time. And Mathare United, this season they've had such a tough season, and this is mainly due to financial reasons. They they really lacked resources to travel to go and honor football matches, and this has really had such a bad effect on them. And I think that this is one of the main reasons why they have been relegated, because all this up and down, and sometimes players they're not receiving their salaries, and lack of resources in a football club. There's so many operations that needs to be done in a football club, and without resources, then you're really going to put so much stress on the players and the clubs. And Bob Mundru, I think, was blaming the FKF. I think, remember that in the previous season we had 16 teams, but they had to expand the league, and now we have 18 teams playing in the main league, in the Kenya Premier League. And the expansion of the league meant that Supersport had to Supersport had to leave the league. I think that there was a sort of some disagreement between Supersport and the Premier League, because maybe Supersport, I don't think maybe they could cover. I don't know what the main disagreement was, but they had to leave the when the Kenyan Premier League decided to expand the league, and this meant that this money that football clubs used to get from these broadcasting deals, Mathare United never really Mathare United never got this money, and that this is one of the reasons why Bob Mundro was blaming FKF for these troubles that Mathare United is going through, because there's no money that the football club is getting from these broadcasting deals, and this has meant that they've had a tough season financially, and that this season Mathare United have given away 3 consecutive walkover matches. That is to Bandari Football Club, Ulinzi Stars, and Sofapaka. And according to the rules of Kenyan football, if a club fails to show up for 3 fixtures in a season and don't give any valid reasons in all 3 games, shall be suspended for rest of season and be relegated to a lower tier and may face other disciplinary actions. And this season's Mathare United chose not to honor some football matches. I think intentionally, because they were trying maybe to advocate for something, and that meant that they had to give walkover matches to football clubs, and this meant that they had to face suspension and relegation from the Premier League. And that my big question to everyone this time is that, did Mathare United act within the legal framework of football? And question number 2 is that, should they take their case to court? And that I like to know what most football fans think on the way Mathare United have handled their season. They have handled their ways this season, and let me know in the comment section below. And that, well, just to finish up, I'm just going to say that you really have to feel for Mathare United, because they know that they are a big football club, but the big reasons why maybe they have been relegated is that they never really had resources this season, and that in the Premier League there's so much traveling and so many operations, and without these resources then it might be such a big challenge for these football clubs, and that you really have to feel for Mathare United. And that's just an emphasis. I just like to urge football clubs in Kenya to seek ways to generate funds. Lack of funds has always been and will always be the biggest hindrance to the development of football in Kenya, because without money, without resources, then it's just a tough time for everyone. And that's and again, I'll just like to call on all the sponsors to come to the aid of most of these football clubs in Kenya. Remember that I say that most Kenyan football players and fans are really passionate about the game, but sometimes all this passion without all these resources, then sometimes it can be so frustrating. And that this is the main reason why I'm calling on most on all sponsors to really consider coming to the aid of these football clubs in Kenya. And that I did a YouTube video on some of the ways in which most football clubs generate their income, and I like to urge everyone to watch that video, that my YouTube video. It's Football in Africa. It's called Football in Africa. I like to urge everyone to watch Football in Africa. I've taken my time to list a number of ways in which football clubs can generate income, because uh, money has always been an issue, the main issue in running football in the country, and that they should seek to be financially stable. I also like to congratulate the top scorer in the Kenyan Premier League, in Derrick Otanga of KCB Football Club. He managed to finish the season with 16 goals, and his closest competitor is Clifton Miheso. Clifton Miheso scored 15 goals, and that means that Derrick Otanga gets to go away with the Golden Boot. And just a big congratulations to Derrick Otanga and Clifton Miheso as well. He really tried. 15 goals. 15 goals is not such a small, it's such a big way to end your season. And now that brings me to an end on men's football, and I'd like to now talk about women's football. And on women's football, I'd like to first of all congratulate Vihiga Queens on winning the Kenyan Premier League, the Kenyan Women Premier League title. They went the whole season unbeaten, and they managed to play 22 games. They won 19, they drew 3 and lost 0, and they finished the season on 60 points. And their number 2 was Ulinzi Starlets, who played 22 games. They won 11, they drew 10 and lost 1, and finished the season on 43 points. And number 3, Gaspo Women, they played 22, won 11, drew 7, lost 4, and they finished the season on 40 points. And that the gap between the first team, that is Vihiga Queens, and the rest of these other teams, the first team finished the season on 60 points, while the second team finished the season on 43 points. And that is such a huge gap between the first team and the first team on the table and the second team on the table. And I like to urge these women, these other clubs, these other women football clubs in the Premier League to pull up their socks and really try and narrow this gap. And I like to see so much stiff competitions. I don't want one team to be 60 points, then the second is close by 43 points, and that I like them to bridge this gap. And that in the relegation place we had Bunyore Starlets, Kayole Starlets, and Kangemi Ladies Football Clubs. These are the three teams that finished at the bottom of the table, and this means that they have to be relegated. But I hope to see them in the league again, and that once they go to the Super League, it's just another place to really sharpen your skills and prepare yourself as well to come and join the main league, and we hope to see them as well in the main league. And just like I said in my previous video, I think that more needs to be done to improve women's football, not only in Kenya but in Africa as a whole. We need more numbers. There are around 12 teams that are playing in the Kenyan Women Premier League, and I like for this number to be more, to increase, at least to at least for it to match the number of men's football teams that are playing in the league. I think I like them to get to at least 18, 16 to 18. And this means that we need numbers. Yeah, we need numbers. Just like I said, that in the past, football was considered to be a male sport, and that it is only until later on that these football administrators really started developing women's football. And I'd like to urge more women, more ladies to consider playing football and join the main league, join the league and increase competition. And I know that they are really capable of doing that. And that and and before I finish up, we know that Kenya and Zimbabwe have been banned by FIFA. This is due to third-party interference. In the FKF, there are cases of mismanagement of funds, and the sports ministry decided to form a caretaker committee to take over the affairs of the Kenyan Football League. And and FIFA doesn't like this sort of interference, this third party interference, and this meant that Kenya had to receive a ban. And at the moment, we are still Kenya is still suspended by FIFA, and that at the moment, both the men's national football teams and the women's national football teams, they can only run their matters internally. But when it comes to going outside the country, then we cannot be able to do that, because all these teams, they are under FIFA, and they are supposed to operate under the laws and regulations of FIFA. And this FIFA ban means that, number one, that teams and clubs can't participate in any FIFA organized events. This means no friendly matches for the Harambee Stars and the Harambee Starlets and all these other football clubs in Kenya. And also it means that we cannot compete in big tournaments such as the African Cup of Nations, because it is run under CAF, and CAF is under FIFA. FIFA is the parent body. And number two is that we cannot handle any international assignments. Remember that we have the World Cup coming up in November 2022, and that a few referees from Kenya have really tried to make a name for themselves, and that they've been given some big assignments to handle, to officiate in big matches, not just in Kenya. And that in Kenya we have referees. We have Dr. Peter Waweru. Dr. Peter Waweru was my lecturer in Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology when I was in 1.1. I think he taught me mathematics for science, and that I like to see him handle these international assignments, such as these big competitions, the World Cup, the Euros, and I like to see the referees from Africa take on these big assignments. We also have Kamakis and Cheriot, and if this FIFA ban continues, this means that they cannot be able to, they will not be assigned roles to officiate in any football matches, and that I know that their names, they have been nominated to go and officiate in the World Cup. And if FIFA does not lift this ban, then it means that they won't go to the World Cup to officiate in a game. And that no, and number three is that no Kenyan football player can transfer to other clubs as long as the country is suspended. So we have these football players in Kenya playing their football in different parts of the world. We have Victor Wanyama, who is playing in, I think, in Canada, and that this means that these players cannot transfer to other football clubs as long as this ban is in place, and that it really needs to, they really need to put this house in order and handle this matter as seriously as possible, as urgently as possible. This ban has had a negative impact as Harambee Starlets had to forfeit their match, their African Women Cup of Nations final qualifier against Uganda, and this meant that Uganda was given a walkover and a place in the African Women Cup of Nations in Morocco. And this is just one impact. And if this ban continues to stay in place, then it means that it will interrupt with so many affairs of the football in Kenya, and that this government, the government, this government and the Football Kenya Federation, they know what they need to do in order for FIFA to lift this ban, and it is time to sort out this mess before it affects any other plans. According to FIFA president Gianni Infantino, is that all these players, they know what they need to do in order for this ban to be lifted, and that everybody needs to play their part so that this ban does not interfere with any affairs of the football in Kenya. I'd like to thank everyone for watching this video. Please subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell icon so that you'll get a notification every time we post a new video. And cheers. Thank you for your time.